right, we are moving on to 3.6 today. The topic is compound inequalities. That's our topic, compound inequalities. Your learning target, this is for the next 3 days. You are going to be able to graph. That's what you're going to do today. You're going to be able to graph compound inequalities today. Oh, you might be able to write compound inequalities today as well. I'm more focused on graphing. And you're going to be able to solve compound inequalities in these next 3 days. What in the world is a compound inequality, you might be saying? I don't even know what you're talking about. When you think compound, I think more than one. Compounded, compound, more than one, okay? So it's two inequalities, two of them, that are joined together by the word and or or. All right. So, examples. Now I want you to just look. Look at the graphs. If you look at these graphs, you have two graphs going on. I have this graph, and then I have this situation. Now, how I graph it a little different. This is per the book. I do an open circle and go that way. I do a closed circle and go that way. That's a compound inequality. You're going in separate directions. You got two things going at once. This is an and graph where it's smushed together. So you're either pulled in two different directions or you're smushed in between numbers. And how I usually do that one, I draw it like that. And this is another and, you're smushed between. And you'll learn more about how to identify that in a second. So, different examples. This is how they look visually. You can have x is bigger than 3 or x is less than -2. Okay, so you have two different things going on. It can't happen at the same time. You're either going to be bigger than 3 or you're going to be less than -2. It's like, everybody sit up, pay attention. It's like when a parent gives you a choice or someone in your family gives you a choice on something. Okay, and they say, you can have $50 or I will take you shopping for one pair of pants. You know, I'm not giving you both of those. You can choose one choice or the other. That's what an or situation is. You can't have them both. You're one or the other. They are not connected. Those lucky enough, if our family member is like in an and situation, it happens at the same time. A family member could say, I'm going to give you $50 and I'm going to take you shopping for a new pair of pants. You get two things at once. It's all happening at the same time. It's all one. Okay? So you have ors and ands. Ors can't happen together, ands, it's all one. It can happen at the same time. Okay? Notice this, when you make that choice, if your family member says, you can have $50 or I'm going to take you shopping for a new pair of pants, you're kind of pulled in two different directions, like, ooh, $50 would be awesome, I kind of want to do that. And then, who says they didn't give you a limit on how much they're going to pay on this pair of pants, so maybe you're pulled in another direction, like, oh, I can get those super nice pants that I want, you know, that some other kids have worn. You know, so I mean, you're really pulled in two different directions. What do I really want to do? Okay, so we need to be able to graph them. I missed a page. Okay, graphing compound inequalities. And then or inequality, notice my T-chart. Because you have two, when you have a compound, you either have an or statement or an and statement. In or statement, you're going to graph inequality separate. You're just going to do it separate, same number line. It's going to be x is less than a number or x is bigger than a number. It will go in opposite directions. Write that down. And or goes in opposite directions. So you need to make sure that if you're graphing an or compound, you actually went in two different directions. And you're going to make a circle at each of the numbers and connect them. X is always in the middle, so you have some number is less than X, which is less than another number. Okay? Some number is less than X, which is less than something. X is in the middle, and it will be connected. Now let me show you. You've never seen something like this before, so I just want to show you how I do it. I'm going to graph this first one. I'll call it A. X is less than -2 or X is greater than or equal to 0. So it's an or statement because I have the word or. So I'm going to just graph each inequality separately on the same number line. So X is less than -2 is an open circle at -2 going to the left. Or X is greater than or equal to 0, closed circle at 0 going to the right. Done. That's it. That's all I have to do. It looks advanced, but it's pretty easy because you just graph them separate. The next one, I see X is smushed in the middle, so that tells me that I'm going to be connecting them. Anytime X is smushed in the middle, you're going to be connecting them. So -8 is less than or equal to X. So I make a circle at -8, closed, circle at -8. I make an open circle at 4, and X is between them. Connect them. Another one. Is this one going to be smushed in between or going in opposite directions?
Opposite.
It's going to be opposite directions. So I have X is less than or equal to 0. Color it in. Or X is bigger than or equal to 9. Color it in at 9. Go in the opposite direction. Okay. The next one. -6 is less than X, which is less than 3. Opposite direction or smushed in between? Smushed in between, connected. So, oops. I have a circle at -6, I have a circle at 3, and I just connect them. That's learning target 1. You can graph compound inequalities. Give me, scale yourself. How do you feel you're doing? You are either a 1, you don't get this at all, you are a 2, you're a 3, or you're a master, you're a 4. I see a lot of 3s and 4s.